Alright, so I'm going to look at actually these are the plans for the subdivision. I think that I shared these with you guys. These are the as-built, so these are actually the original subdivision. And I'm looking to see where the sewer is, the water is. It looks like the water's just right off the edge of pavement out here in Fisher Road, and it's a 16-inch water line. And then we're going to put water down the right side of the road, or left side of the road, and it's going to be 8-inch, but we're going to be specific on this, and then we'll bring it down to the end. Now it looks like the existing fire hydrant is way out here, which I don't have that for you, so we're going to actually I'm going to actually draw it right here straight across from the subdivision, just to kind of have something to work with. But typically you would go out and log that out in the field and then bring in the points. Alright, so we're going to go to CAD, and I am going to offset this line, and I'm going to offset it 2 feet. And then I'm going to change the layer. So I just left click on the line. I'm going to drop down and find the existing water layer. Okay. And then I'm going to just put some text in to call it a 16-inch water main, and I'm going to call it existing. So I'm going to say dtext, and looks like the text height is 2.5. So let me go to modify, no, annotate, and I'm going to find a different text. Manage styles. And I'm just going to do line text, and hopefully it'll come in for us. Set current, close, now dtext. So now it's coming in a 5. So what I did is I went to annotate, I went to line text, so I did the arrow down right here beside the ABC. I went to manage text styles, and I found some that was line text and said set current, and apply, and close. And then I'm going to go back to dtext, and it wants to say, you know, where do we want to put it? So I'm just going to put it right here to the, I'm going to take most snaps off, right here. Text height's 5, so I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to let the rotation be at 0, and I'll rotate it in just a minute. And I'm going to call it existing 16-inch water. And WM will be fine. So we've got 16-inch water main. And then I'm going to rotate it. And bring it over. And then, so I've got it kind of rotated. I am actually going to hit the little paintbrush, like match properties. And I'm going to change the text to be on that same layer. Alright, so I want to add a fire hydrant in. And you remember I said I wanted to do a fire hydrant. And the fire hydrant was over here on the top side of it. Now, fire hydrants are always a foot and a half inside the right-of-way. So to put the symbol in, I'm going to offset the top right-of-way 1.5 feet. That's a foot and a half. So PwC wants their fire hydrants close to a property line, but inside the right-of-way that's the state. So I'm going to do a line, and I got to turn my O-snaps back on, from the end point to the end point of my water line. I'm going to go ahead and erase that and match properties. Okay. And then we're going to insert a symbol. So I'm hoping he'll have a fire hydrant symbol. Insert, insert, more options. And you click down and we'll see if we can find a fire hydrant. He's got an existing hydrant right there. Now it probably is going to come in really, really small. So I'm going to see if I can go ahead and change it to 5. If I mess up, we'll go back. So it may be 50. Let me try this. Yeah, it needs to be 50. Because this is a 50 scale we're working with. So I'm going to see, you can go to insert. So I went to the insert ribbon, insert, more options, existing fire hydrant. We're going to specify on screen a uniform scale. $50. I'm not going to specify. I took specify on screen off and made it 50. And the insertion point. And that is the right. And then I'm peculiar, so I kind of like to rotate it so that it looks like that. Alright, go back to the home, match properties. So we're off and running. Alright. So, now that 16-inch water main is usually a really, really, really big water main. So, in a typical subdivision, or if you looked at PwC's checklist, or, you know, what their requirements are, but to serve a subdivision, it has to be 8 inches or greater. You can reduce down to a 2-inch line if you're serving maybe 7 houses. So I want to actually put the water line in our subdivision. Well, because the sewer normally runs the center of the road, the 2 utilities have to be 10 feet apart. So I'm going to actually put the water on the left side. So I'm going to go offset, and this time it's 10 feet. And I'm going to offset the center line. And water can bend, so that's the cool thing about that. The water can bend. So when we get down here, I'll show you what to do with this. So let's see if he's got a proposed water line layer. So I'm going to click the line. And then go down, and then let's see if he's got a proposed water line. If not, we can make one. Here's proposed water. So he does have a proposed water. So let me go ahead and make that my current layer. Now I typically like the W's on mine, and he's got it continuous. And I don't see anything but the same existing water. So I'm gonna tweak something. So I'm gonna go with waterline for this one as well. So I'm gonna hit water, and that's my line type. No, better not, because you can't tell what the difference is. We usually like one to stand out more than the other. So I'm going to go back to his continuous and we'll just label it really good. Typically what I would do is this would be a thicker line and then this. We probably could do it that way. I'm going to go up and I am going to do it that way, and it'll stand out a little bit more, and we'll just put it in our legend. Waterline and I'm trying to make my screen a little bigger so I can show you where I'm going at. Under line weight, I'm going to add that one to a 3.5, make it a little thicker. And then if you notice it stands out, it's a little thicker. And I'm going to double click to make that my current one. Alright, so now it's a little thicker. Now I need it to extend back to the proposed. So I'm going to hit extend. There's the under trim is extend, and I'm going to extend. So you're going to select the blue, hit enter, and then select the lighter blue. So now they extend back to there. So typically when there's an intersection, they put like a T intersection, and then we'll put in a water valve. I'll show you how to get that in just a minute. So we've got our water in, and I'm going to go ahead and put my text in there. Okay, so water, if I type dtext, and I'm just going to set it right here. So I'm going to write proposed (8-inch) water main C900. So C900 is a specific water main, and that did not work. That's way too big. Tight. It's changed. That's what the problem was. It changed right there. I'm not sure when that happened. So I'm going to type dtext, and I'm also dtext. I'm going to take most snaps off for a minute. And I'm kind of putting it where the straightaway is. I know what I did. I'm just going to put it here. Text height 5. Rotation 0. Proposed 8-inch water main. It's C900. That's a specific type of water main. And then we're going to say parentheses 10 feet left LT and CL. So it's proposed 8-inch water main C900. That's the type of the plastic pipe. 10 feet left of the center line. And I can write TYP, meaning typical. I normally write in mostly caps when we and it. Okay. And then I can move that over. I That's a little big, so I can scale it down. Scale it. 0.75. And then see if I can bring it in up here. I'm just going to bring it in and rotate it. It looks something like that. Alright, so when we get down here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to offset this 10 feet. And because I'm already on the layer, you'll notice that it actually, and then we're going to trim it back at the end. And I can copy this if we need to. So I'm just copying and rotating. I still have my cap lock. I still have my O-snaps on. Looks something. That's probably close enough. Alright, now the water cannot do this. So the water has to have a 45-degree bend. So it can gradually go around the corner. But when you get here, we have to do a 45-degree bend. So I'm going to trim these two back. So I'm hitting TR for trim. I'm going to trim the water back to that. So I'm going to show you the way I normally do it. I'm going to do a line, create a line by angle. And it wants to know the first point, so I've got to turn my O-snaps back on. So I'm going to start at the intersection. My end point is going to be here, and then to go this direction, which that's the way I want the 45 to be. No, I want my 45 like that. So I'm going to type in 45, enter. And I'm just going to do a distance of 25 feet. And then we're just going to move it from here. I'm going to take my O-snaps off for a minute. Now, I kind of want it over this way, so I'm just going to create, and this will be the right angle. I'm going to do the shift right click and say nearest. And then I'm going to extend it. So I'm going to hit EX for extend. I'm going to extend it to here. And then we'll trim the two back to this. Alright, so what happens is we're going to put in two 45-degree bends. So that's a 45, that's a 45. So if I do inquiry and angle, let's do this. So that's a 135. So if you say 180 minus 45, there's where the 135 comes into play. So that is correct. So that'll work. That's the prettiest, easiest way to do that. So we've labeled that. I need to put in I need to add in some labels right here for the water main. So I'm gonna go to add labels, and it's station and offset. So it's alignment and station and offset. And we'll edit. So it wants to know what, I want to know what the station number is. So I want to put a station number right here. So I'm going to click the purple line. And the point I want a station number for is right here with it. And so I'm going to click this twice. So once will be the station, the second should be the and it put Green Valley Road. So I'm gonna edit that. So I'm right clicking. Let's see, I want to drag this out of the way. Move label. My O snaps are on. Yep. And I might do it up here because we're going to put a fire hydrant in. And then let's see if I can edit label style. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Now that I know the station, I'm going to type in some D text. And I'm going to do I'm going to just type it off here. Height is going to be 4. And I'm going to say proposed 45. And the degree symbol, I can tell you where it is. It is percent D. Yeah, percent D. 45 degree bend. Station 4, and you can just do it to the nearest whole number, which would be 10 plus 0, 0. 10 plus 0, 0. And I'm going to say left 10 feet. Now I should have did D text and D text. Before I hit enter, do middle left, and then it'll straighten them all straight in a row. 5, and now proposed 45, and remember it's the percent, so I'm typing the percent twice and then the letter D, and bend station 10 plus 0, 0, left 10 feet, and see how it left aligned it. Okay, so I can erase this. And I'll go ahead and move this over here. We're going to scale it down just a tiny bit. So I'm hitting SC for scale. I'm going to do 0.75. And then I'm just going to do what they call a leader. LE for leader. Oh, I've got to get off that proposed water. Since I'm through with the water, I'm going to go back to see if he has a text layer. Yeah, he's got a text. I'm going to just go to a text layer. And I'm going to do a leader. And it looks like it's just a line. And I'm just going to copy this down so that I can put the station number for this one. So if I want to figure out what this station number is, actually I can go to Annotate, Add Labels, Alignment, and I'm going to go ahead and label it. Add Station and Offset. So this time it's going to be the Queens Point Road. And you've got to put your O-snaps back on. So that's going to be station. If you look at it, looks like it's more than 10. No, there it is, 10 feet. So it's 0, and I'm just looking at it, is 0 plus 32 for mine. If yours is a little different, not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm just going to change this to 0 plus 32. And we're done with that. And then I'll do a leader. I'm going to right click on leader. And there's settings. And so right now it's set up as an M text. I'm going to say none. And I'm going to take my snaps off again. And we're done. Alright, so your waterline's in and labeled. The very last thing we have to do is add a fire hydrant in. And now fire hydrant protection has to be, you have to have a fire hydrant within 1,000 feet. So in other words, a fire hose can reach 500 one direction and 500 another. So you can put your fire hydrants 1,000 feet apart. It's typically best to put it on a property line. That way it doesn't impede right in the middle of somebody's driveway. If I'd put it right here and they put a driveway there right in the middle of the lot, that's kind of not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle from this existing fire hydrant. So I'm going to do a C for circle, and I'm going to take my O-snaps back on, and I'm going to do 1,000. So I could put a fire hydrant anywhere down here. So I know if I'm within this 1,000-foot bubble, I'm good to go. So I'm actually going to put it right here. And remember, the fire hydrant has to be 1.5 feet inside the right-of-way. So I'm going to offset. Since I know this is I think our right-of-way is 40. Yep. So I'm going to offset the center line 18.5. And then I'm going to do a line from the end point here, and I'm hitting shift right click and perpendicular, and then I can trim it back. So I'll trim it back. So this line should be 18.5 feet. Okay, and then I'm just gonna match properties, and we have to add a fire hydrant on here. So insert, more options. That's existing, so there should be a proposed hydrant. There is, and it's a little bit darker. Remember to do your, take that off and make this 50. And I'm just going to bring it in right there. And I need to label it as well. So we can kind of list the line. I can tell you the distance is going to be 18.5. So I'm going to go to Annotate, Add Labels, Alignment, and Add and Station and Fixed Offset. So I'm just going to list this alignment, and I'm going to let it click there. So it's actually at 9 plus 52. And it doesn't quite look like it's 18.5, but we're going to go with it. So it's 9 plus 5203, so you can say 9 plus 52, and the offset's going to be 18.5 feet. The reason it's negative because it's your left. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm just going to rotate it. So I'm hitting RO for rotate. I know this is a lot. And I'm going to move it out of the way. And then I'm just going to double click, and it's a proposed, and call it FH for fire hydrant, and call it an assembly. And if you misspell something, you'll get a red line under there. So we're good. And the station was 9 plus 52, and left and I'm going to move it off to the side and do a leader over to it, and you're good. Alright, so our water's in, it's designed, we've got our bends, we've got our fire hydrant, and typically we would put a blow off on the end, but I'm not going to worry about that. You've got the gist of it. This is how PwC designs their water mains. They do just like what I've been doing. Typically it's easier because you know how combobbled it can be. That's the easiest way, and I'm going to erase my circle. Alright, make sure to save your drawing, and that'll round this up.